Hello again. Good morning. How are you? Wow. Are you ready for an English class? I'm not sure if I'm ready. Oh, I need to gain some morale. But no. Welcome to a new English class. Welcome to Inglés en TV. English on Spanish television. Yes, courtesy of Televisión Española. It's a very good partner for me. I enjoy working with Televisión Española. I've been working with Televisión Española, I think, since 2012. 12 years, or 11 or 12 years, a long time. It's a long time. Y todavía nos queremos. Yeah. And we still love each other. Yes. All right. Li Tong. Li Tong. He's Chinese. Aquí está con su hija de 8 años. Yes. In their house. In the living room. Yes. Li Tong is a Chinese factory worker. Operario de fábricas, diferentes formas. One way is a factory worker. He's a Chinese factory worker in Shanghai. Fijaos en la pronunciación de Shanghai. Decís aquí Shanghai. Con fuerza en la G. Shanghai. En inglés no. Shanghai. La aspiración de la H suena. Shanghai. Shanghai como alto. Shanghai. Valley High. Shanghai. Shanghai. It's a very important city. One of the most important cities in the world. And Li Tong lives in Shanghai, and he works in a telephone factory that makes standard telephones, landline telephones, not mobile telephones or cell phones, no, landline telephones. And he's in charge of the receiver. You know, when you speak on the phone, así se hace. Okay. This part. And this part. No, this part is for listening. This is the microphone for speaking. This is the part he that's the only thing he does on the assembly line. That's what he does. All right, it's a very monotonous task. Repetitive. Monotonous and repetitive. Monotonous and repetitive. All right. And that's his job. But Li Tong is an intelligent man. And he has aspirations. He doesn't want to spend the rest of his life placing the microphone in the receiver. The microphone here. He doesn't want to spend... All right. He doesn't want to do that for the rest of his life. And every day, he gets on his bicycle at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark outside. And he rides his bike for 55 minutes, almost 1 hour, to the factory. The factory's in the port. In the port of Shanghai. In Shanghai port. But he lives in the interior of the city. And he leaves his bike, he goes to work, and he works until 2 o'clock. From 6 to 2. And then he rides his bicycle back home and gets home at 3 o'clock. Okay. But he doesn't because he has a sandwich in the middle of the morning. Well, in the middle of the morning. He has a sandwich around 12 o'clock. Around 12 o'clock, he has a sandwich. So when he gets home, he's not hungry yet. He has dinner later at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. All right. And the sandwich he has, his wife prepares the night before. All right. It's usually a chicken sandwich. A chicken sandwich. And so he's working, and a few weeks ago, he was working, and 3 men came. 2 tall American men. Lee thought they were American. And an employee, a Chinese employee from the engineering department in the offices. I say, señalo arriba because in Lee's factory, the factory floor is the lowest area, and the offices are up on the second floor, up some stairs, and you can see the windows of the offices. But Lee's downstairs on the factory floor, suelo de fábrica, on the factory floor, working, but he can see the offices. And those people in the offices earn more money than Lee, a lot more money than Lee. And so one day he was working, and 3 people came, 2 Australian men, and a member of Lee's organization, and who was showing them around the factory. He was showing them around the factory, and he was talking to them in English, the Chinese employee, and so he explained to the 2 men the part of the assembly line that corresponded to Lee. And they asked a question, and Lee said, Lee told the young man in Chinese what he does. And he told the other men, the men looked and said, thank you. And Lee said, thank you in Chinese, and they continued. But Lee started thinking, this kid, this guy, is younger than me. I think Lee is 36 years old. He's younger than me. And his salary is probably double mine. And he speaks English. So Lee decided to learn. I said, I'm going to learn English. So he had a friend who worked in the same engineering department as the young man, who lived near his house, and arranged with him to start taking language classes. So 1 week later, Lee started learning English in a language school, but he was having problems. I mean, English sounded like Chinese. English sounded, and he was having problems. He was not progressing. However, his daughter, who's 8 years old, is a very intelligent girl. And she's taking English classes at school. Part of her school is English, lingua inglesa, the English language. And she's very good, and she decided to help her father. All right, and here we are, father and daughter together. Okay? Last night, fijaos cómo lo pronuncio. Night empieza por N, consonante. Entonces la T de last, no la digo. Last night. Last night, también lo puedo decir, pero tengo que forzarme un poquito. Last night. Puedes practicar eso. Last night. Last night I went to bed. Last night I watched TV. Last night I saw a movie. Last night I had dinner. Last night. All right. Last night, Lee Tong was thinking about giving up the idea of learning English. Uy, mucho gerundio aquí, ¿eh? Thinking about giving up. Last night, Lee Tong was thinking about giving up the idea of learning, otro gerundio, English. 3 gerundios, una sola frase. Bueno, no son gerundios, son participios presentes, es en inglés, present participles. Estaba pensando en abandonar la idea de aprender inglés. He was thinking about giving up. To give up is tirar la toalla. To give up, to abandon, to give up. No sé si otra cosa, to give up. Last night, Lee Tong was thinking about his preposición, gerundio después, about giving up the idea of his preposición, gerundio, of learning English. Last night, Lee Tong was thinking about giving up the idea of learning English. The idea of learning English. Yeah, pobrecito. Yeah. Tan pronto. Quiere tirar la toalla. He wants to give up. He wants to give up. He's thinking about giving up the idea of learning English. He had already, pluscuamperfecto aquí, ya había asistido. He had already attended 6 classes, but he still couldn't understand a word the teacher was saying. But he still couldn't understand a word. Ni una sola palabra que decía ese profesor. Peter. My name is Peter. My name is Peter. My name is Peter. I'm your English teacher. My English teacher? My English teacher. When un americano said, I'm your English teacher. My name is Peter. Mucha ere. Okay. He said, and poor Lee, he had already attended 6 classes, 6 horas de clase, 6 classes. But he still couldn't understand a word the teacher was saying. Yeah, ni una sola palabra diría ese en español, pero en inglés no podía entender una palabra. He couldn't understand a word the teacher was saying. He felt embarrassed in class. He felt embarrassed. ¿Se sentía embarazado? No, se sentía apurado, violento o tierra trágame. He felt embarrassed. Bear. Suena como oso, ¿no? Bear. Embarrassed. Y embarrassed, sin embargo, la segunda A, embarrassed, casi es como una I corta inglesa. Embarrassed. He felt embarrassed in class because most of the other students seemed to be progressing quite well. Yo soy el rezagado más rezagado. Ya los demás me adelantan. Because the rest of the students, or because most of the students seemed to be, la mayoría parecía ir muy bien, seemed to be progressing quite well. Yes. He had the impression that he was holding back the class. Poor guy. ¿Será verdad? He had the impression that he was holding back the class. To hold is sostener, sujetar. I'm holding a pen. To hold back is retrasar. Tenía la sensación de que, o la impresión de que estaba retrasando el regreso de la clase. Frenando. Holding back. To hold, hold back. Hold back. Yes. For example, if Marta gets angry with Jennifer and she wants to hit her, I'll grab Marta and hold her back. No. Don't hit Jennifer. I'm holding her back. In this case, Lee Tong had the impression, or got the impression, that he was holding back the class. However, thanks to his daughter, he changed his mind. Yeah, before going to bed. Antes de ir a la cama, cambió de opinión. Gracias a su hija. However, thanks to his daughter, he changed his mind before going to bed. Yeah, to change your mind. I've changed my mind. She's changed her mind. You changed your mind. Cambiaste tu opinión. Tu mente, se dice en inglés. He cambiado mi mente. Eso, yeah, I've changed my mind. He cambiado de opinión. Yes. However, in English, to change your mind es cambiar de actuación, no necesariamente de opinión. Claro, cambiar de opinión. For example, Dios no existe. Bueno, es mi opinión. No, bueno, ahora voy a cambiar. Sí existe. All right. That's to change your opinion, not to change your mind. But it's also to change your mind, you see. But you can have an opinion. I don't like pencils in general. And the following day, now suddenly I like pencils. I've changed my opinion about pencils. All right. But to change your mind is cambiar de parecer, cambiar de actuar, cambiar de opinión también. So, thanks to his daughter, He changed his mind before going to bed. Resulta que, it turns out that, memorizad esta expresión, it turns out that, resulta que, it turns out. To turn out means salió que, resultó que, o en este caso, sale que, resulta que. It turns out that when he told his wife that he was thinking about giving up, his daughter was doing her homework on the kitchen table. On the kitchen table. Yes. When she heard her father say this, she got up and told him that English was easy. Papa, English is easy. Yeah. She showed him her English book, and together they studied the first 2 chapters. Lee had always thought that his daughter was a gifted child, but now he was sure of it. Okay. So, Lee was discouraged. Lee Tong, he felt discouraged, desanimado, discouraged. And he was thinking about giving up the idea of learning English. He had attended 6 classes in the language school, and he still couldn't understand a word the teacher was saying. He had the impression that he was holding back. Well, it seemed that most of the other students were progressing quite well. Most of the other students in the class were progressing quite well. And he had the impression that he was holding back the class. So, however, thanks to his daughter, he changed his mind before going to bed. What happened was the daughter was, you see, Lee Tong lives in a small apartment. All right, they have a living room, kitchen, in a big room, a living room, kitchen, and 1 bedroom. The parents sleep in the bedroom, and the daughter has a fold-out couch, sofa cama, and she sleeps there during the night, and they put her back up, and they have the kitchen here. There's a kitchen table, the living room, etc. And the daughter was doing her homework. She's only 8 years old. She was doing her homework at the kitchen table, and the father and mother were talking. And Lee said to his wife, "I'm thinking about giving up." And the daughter heard her father say this. And she said, "But Daddy," or Papa, Daddy, como lo dice aquí? She said, yes. When she heard her father say this, she got up and told him that English was easy. "Daddy, English is easy. It's easy." All right. She showed him her English book. Said, "Mira mi libro." She showed him her English book. And together they studied the first 2 chapters of the book. Yeah, chapter 1 and chapter 2. Together. Yeah, ahí sentados, ahí están. You see? All right. Yeah. So, Lee had always thought his daughter was a gifted child. Lee had always thought, past perfect, pluperfect. Lee had always thought, siempre había pensado, que su hija era una niña superdotada. Yeah. Lee had always thought. Lee had como se dice muñeca, had always, fonética, la D manda aquí, la D de had always, have always, si es presente perfecto, pero es pasado perfecto, had always. Lee had always thought that his daughter was a gifted. Gift es un regalo. Gift. Ahora, gifted no es regalado. Gifted, no. Gifted is dotado, superdotado. Don, con un don, con dones. Con don de Dios. Yeah, with a gift. Es un don. It's a gift from God. Un don de Dios. It's a gift from God. So, Lee had always thought that his daughter was a gifted child. But now he was sure of it. Ahora de ello estaba seguro. And now he was sure of it. Yes. She explained to him. No se dice she explained him. Ojo, cuidado. Es un error que suena mal. Explain to me. Pero no se suele decir to me, explain. Pero si quieres explícame, explain to me. She explained to him how to conjugate the verb to be in the singular and the plural in the first, second, and third person. I am, you are, he is, or it is, she is. Third person singular, it is, she is, he is. Okay. I am, you are. First person, I am, you are, he is. So she worked on the verb to be with her father. That's chapter 1. I am a man, I am a teacher, I am sitting, I am looking at the camera, I am here, I am not there. Okay, over there. She's sitting, she's not standing. He's a man, he's not a woman. This is a pen, it's not an elephant, okay? And you're a student, not a teacher. You're looking at me, you're not looking at the ceiling, all right? Or at the buildings, etc. So, she explained to him how to conjugate the verb to be in the singular and the plural, plural también, in the first, second, and third person. So, we are, you are, ustedes, vosotros, and they are. They are. All right. Yeah. Then she asked him questions using the interrogative form. Are you sitting? Yes, I am. Are you my father? Yes, I am. Are you in your house? Yes, I am, etc., etc. All right. So, then she asked him. Después le hizo preguntas. Then she asked him questions. Fijaos, como siempre os digo lo mismo para que se os quede. Yo no digo asked him, no lo he dicho en mi vida. Y un nativo no lo dice. En plena batalla fonética decimos asked him. Asked him. Como un Aston Martin, Aston. Un asta, el asta. Asked him. Yes, asked him. All right, asked him. Yes. Then she asked him questions using the interrogative form. Lee was impressed. Wow. Lee was impressed. Yeah. His daughter was only 8 years old, and she was teaching English better than his English teacher. Peter, yeah, his English teacher. Yeah. They practiced the structures in the first 2 chapters for over 30 minutes. In the first 2 chapters of the book, they practiced, Lee and his daughter, they practiced las estructuras, the structures. Structure. Yo estoy seguro, I'm sure. Structure. Un británico diría seguramente structure. They practice the structure. The structure. All right. I exaggerate about my friends. All right. They practiced the structures in the first 2 chapters for over 30 minutes, for more than 30 minutes. That night, que era last night realmente, when he went to bed, Lee made a resolution. to continue studying the language and to make a bigger effort to understand what the teacher and the other students were saying in class. All right, he made a resolution. Fijaos. A resolution, claro, resolución, en inglés y en español, resolution. However, the word resolution has a second meaning, propósito. Cuando se dice propósito este año nuevo, en inglés decimos resolución este año. New Year's resolution. He resuelto que voy a hacer esto. I have resolved that I'm going to do this. So he made a resolution, means hizo a propósito. No solo la decisión. I'm going to do it. I'm going to future. I'm going to learn English. Come hell or high water. Venir el infierno o las aguas altas. Come hell or high water. Se usa mucho ese expresión. Come hell or high water. Pase lo que pase. Aunque muera el empeño. Okay, I'm going to learn English. Yeah. Thanks to his daughter. Yes, sir. His daughter is a very intelligent young lady. All right. But with that, I have to say goodbye. But I'll be back tomorrow.